Live, folks, back again. This is your host of Lit Literature, JP, aka The Demon, for Mistborn Book 2, The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, Part 2.
And I'm Brett, the director.
I'm Ben the Hitman, and we need one more book for me to win.
He just woke up.
And Jared. No, I'm sorry.
Zero people are going to join us for the third book.
All right. I'm holding to my guns. We'll get some people here for Book 3.
Nope.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, everybody. So we left off. We had done a good spectrum, a good portion we were talking about in the first book. But we have to talk about the manipulation of various forces of Vin. And I specifically want to start with the easy one, which is Sazed's Lie.
To send her away.
Send her away.
I think before then we should talk about
Rin? Or not Rin, I keep saying
Zane.
Zane was manipulating her to be a murderer, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot of the kind of the inner turmoil does go around Vin, and she meets Zane and she starts to get all these this idea that Zane is another Mistborn who has all of these elements or powers.
And he's really damn good.
And he is super good, especially
his, balancing.
Pushing. Yeah.
Just floating.
Yep, which Vin says Vin gets a bit of a rush from going out and doing these little sparring events with him, or they do these almost like games of tag where they'll go and they'll play, or just practice their abilities. But she doesn't really know what his feelings are until later, and we start to get that he's kind of insane, but he wants her to run away with him. Essentially, he's you can cure me of my insanity, or I feel what we find out is literally he's got this voice in his head that constantly tells him to kill everyone and everything. But Vin is the first person.
Why would I have you kill her?
Vin is the first person ever that he doesn't get the voice in his head to kill.
Yeah.
And he's there must be something about her. She might save me from this.
Yeah. That's one of the things I really like about Zane. I always thought he was crazy. We learn out later he's not.
Yeah.
But he hears his voice to kill people, and he's like, I know I'm crazy. I'm just not going to listen to her voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll do what I want when I want. Fuck you, voice.
Yeah. I like how he doesn't have arguments with the voices, though, in his head, though. He, literally speaks and it's no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I like it when his dad's, point of view. There he is talking to himself again.
And he's like, damn, he's so crazy. Well, but
what have I got myself into?
I really like that about his character, that he realized that, and then he realized I don't have to follow the voice. Nothing's gonna happen if I do.
Right.
And he's just I gotta act normal.
Yeah, it's not a bad type of crazy to have.
Well,
and
to an extent.
Dude, having a Mistborn that powerful and only being a tin eye is pretty boy, keeping him in line.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. Yeah. But one of the things that you get the feeling that I think there's subtle undertones that you really should feel bad, and Zane, I don't think, is a bad person.
I think he's twisted for sure.
He's definitely, I think he's got definitely parental issues, but even you find out towards the end that you think Zane's been trying to kill his father over and over again, but literally in his mind he's oh, I told her not to try it, but it's one of the Straff's Venture.
He was just fucking with his dad.
It's one of Straff Venture's mistresses, and she's trying to kill him, and he literally will just sure, blame me, I don't care, because he was sleeping with her as well, which is a bit
but don't you think he was doing that specifically to
put her on, and she wasn't trying to kill him?
No, I thought it made it sound to me that he was just she should have never, she's in over her head, she shouldn't have kept trying to do this. That's the way I interpret it.
She wasn't trying to kill him, she was just trying to make him enslaved to him.
Because all she's got to do is be oh, I don't feel that good today, because she lightened up the addictive material, and then she'll be I have a potion for you, here you go.
Yeah.
And have it fixed. Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end
it's not that she was poisoning him, it's that he would slowly become addicted, not be poisoned.
Yeah.
He was going through withdrawals.
Yeah. And then at the end he's once she kills her and finds out what it was, he just takes it well, this isn't so bad. I feel alert. I wake up in 2 seconds. I'm
it's cocaine or something.
Yeah, literally.
I'm damn, dude.
Yeah, this guy is addicted.
Well, at first
I always could respect him for his steadiness and his strength of will.
Yeah.
And now he's just like giving into his drug.
Yeah.
And he's like, when he's like, oh, I gotta wean myself off this. It's squeezed off, but I can do it. It's like, oh,
But it's not that
he's
bad.
a badass.
Yeah.
He's like an evil guy, but he's strong and like strong.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
can
yeah.
respect that.
Yeah.
Then
But
he
it's
just
Not
He's
gave
anymore.
it- Yeah,
he,
wow.
he lost his respect. Ben's like,
He's like,
I found
yeah.
out I was being drugged. I was off it the next day.
Cold turkey.
Cold
the best
turkey,
thing about
and
it
then
is
I
he
killed
didn't,
it.
he didn't even just try to wean himself off.
Yeah.
He legitimately just started taking more.
Well, he had to stay off the withdrawal, but it sounded like he started to make excuses, being like, maybe I should keep doing it. When he's like, oh, but I get up like 2 minutes in the morning now. It took me an hour and a half before. Like
It's
it's
also
like
kind of
he's,
weird. It's like, how lazy is he? He's like,
I know, yeah. Like, it took, like, I felt like that was a weak excuse to be like, this is a good thing for me, like, because he's addicted to it.
Dude.
Yeah.
But how about you're like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna play out, and then literally he just gets fucking cut in half.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
my
say.
God.
Oh,
that
that was the
scene
best
was
thing
so
is you're like this the whole time. You're like, how is he gonna die? You know, is Zane gonna poison him or what is this? What's going on? Nah, he just gets chopped in half. Like
that
Yeah.
scene, like,
it was amazing.
there's a couple scenes where Vin, like, specifically with the delirium or
Yeah.
not delirium, Duralium or
Duralium.
I think I said it right the first time, but
I
now I
think you
lost it. Yeah.
Probably because I've just been saying delirium, so it's.
But we're gonna say
messing everyone up.
delirium.
But literally, whenever she uses that, it's like so badass, like incredibly badass. Like she's literally like on the frickin' like with the Colossus in front of like his
Yeah.
army, and they're like, "Oh God, we're gonna have to fight the Colossus," and it's just like all of a sudden.
Duralumin.
Duralimin. All of a sudden, she just comes from like halfway across the battleground, flying in, and just cuts him and the horse in half. And it's just like, oh my
And then the general was like, that's where in the movies where it's like, no actual horses were harmed. in the
Yeah,
film in
yeah,
this
right.
movie.
Yes, except
Once,
once.
yeah, when I read that, I was like, okay, this general who's been kind of chafing on the low guy,
Venture.
I thought he was gonna kneel right then and be like,
Oh no, but she's like, time to kill,
Yeah.
no walls.
yeah, and she just like wiped off all.
Oh
the,
my God, she went around
He
the
ended up
back lines.
living and then
Yeah.
submitting. But I thought
Dude,
it was a.
That's I think this is the same scene. That scene when they were like, "Is that an arrow?"
Oh, yeah.
That scene made I was just like, oh, God, I want to direct this
Yeah.
so bad.
Is it a bird? Is it an arrow?
Yeah.
No, it's Finn.
Oh no, it's a person.
And she has a colossal sword,
She just comes in like a freaking meteor.
like a 5-foot sword, and just like,
So good.
no, I was happy how that went, but I really wish that he like was able to recognize it and had like some back and forth before she.
Oh yeah, before yeah.
It was just
realized,
like
how
forced.
strong she is.
Yeah, she was. There was that scene. There was also when she went to go save Breeze when he was running away from the army, and she did the same thing.
Oh.
She catapulted out there, and then like the horses are chasing, and she just shoved on like 30 horses, and they all just flew up into the air because they were all chasing
Yeah.
Breeze.
It's important how they keep noting that your weight is an important factor in push and pull in terms of physics with this, and that she can be strong enough, even with pewter, to anchor herself in between a push and pull so much that she could do that because of the amount of weight that's pressing on her body. It's kind of like what Ham said.
A lot of-
like, how is she back up? She got hit by a thug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she still bounces up. She's just
I'm
on
actually
another
curious
level.
why there aren't like just a ton of like you would think that if weight is so important for it that it would be like
Totally
a
fat
coveted
Al
thing to
Mansos.
be extremely overweight, like almost like sumo wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like you think that they would
Like
like
really
all
heavy
be
ones?
overweight people.
Yeah, for all the the pushers, and then the whatever.
Yeah,
Coin
I mean, you do get
shots.
the idea that the thugs all have that mindset.
yeah,
Because the
they
thugs
did.
are like, I want to get as big as possible because it adds to your strength. So the bigger I am, I'm still going to have an edge.
That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, but it
But
doesn't.
then, see, that seems to be how well you can burn it because your energy comes from it. If you could burn it better,
Like all the energy comes from the metal, so technically it doesn't matter if you're super strong or Vin, who's a 5 foot.
But they were saying though is if you're super strong,
You're
and
heavy
you're heavy
and strong.
and
Yeah,
strong,
yeah.
then when you meet, you still have that edge because you're the bigger person.
Yeah.
But for some
Yeah.
reason with Vin, she's able to just use the power.
defies
It's
that
why
odds.
Ham said like she got hit by a thug, a big, strong thug. So he's going to be even stronger. And then if you think, you almost think like if you could burn steel and you were a coin shot, you would want to be heavy because that means you could shoot heavier shit.
Stronger.
Yeah.
The bigger that you are, the bigger thing you could use as a missile.
Yeah.
And then whereas if you're the opposite, what do they call the lurchers?
Yeah.
If you're a lurcher, it'd almost be better to be
Thin,
light.
light.
Because then you could just like quickly pull yourself up to stuff and things like that. But lurcher, I feel
and then have a pusher and a lurcher team up together.
yeah, I feel like I know coin shots are very coveted as assassins because we don't have guns in this world. They don't have that stuff. And it was an interesting comment what Sazed said before I move on to the lurcher side of this conversation. But Sazed said like you do realize like when you have a system that works so stably, nothing changed for 1,000 years. We stopped innovation. Like everything just kind of stayed the same for 1,000 years.
Is it even like the Lord Ruler kind of like didn't like it, and you get kind of that feeling like he's probably also loves his past. Like he'd be the one, if you're 1,000 years old, you're going to be the one holding out of the past.
Yeah.
How do you keep moving when you're like back in my day?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
everyone like
easy,
imitated him, and so
Yeah. But to go to the lurcher thing, that's one that I think, and if I remember correctly, though I hardly remember the next trilogy except that I really liked it, I think you get more lurcher action. And like just straight up, how do they, because I feel like there's so many creative ways you could be a lurcher, but they don't really...
You don't see him too much.
Yeah, you don't
really,
see
the
him
only
in this
time you
few
see him
books.
is they've got the big shields, and whenever a coin shot uses it, they just pull the coins at them and they just bounce off the shield. So it's like, okay, I'm done. I just pulled the shields to me. Like instead of, you don't see the lurchers as the ones that are like, you would think the lurcher would be the really agile, like almost like I'm gonna fight because I can pull myself and like move my body all over the
like
place.
elbow and then like and then pull yourself away and then like oh, that would be cool. Anyway, I want to see some lurching. Now when you have both, you could obviously like super like amazing
crazy,
flexibility, push pull like anywhere. But if you could just pull and you are a master at pulling, I feel like you could use that to your
That's one
advantage.
thing. There isn't the puller in the group though. They didn't have one of those.
I
Or
feel like
Coin Shot.
teaming up as a duo would be extremely powerful, where you're like pushing something at somebody and then they pull it back, and it's just like coins getting fucking bounced between them, like
and ammo reloading.
Yeah, like just like constantly,
oh my
like
God.
it'd be insane.
It'd be like a super team. Anyway, we're thinking of all these creative ways that nurtures could be used, Sanderson, and we want to see that. And I think.
But the reason these innovations probably didn't happen is because the Lord Ruler didn't like innovation.
yeah, maybe
You know,
that's like they had the way of fighting.
Yeah.
The lurchers protected the thugs from coin shots, and that was
can
how
only-
they fought wars.
Yeah.
I can only tell you if I had one ability and I got it and it was a lurcher, like I would want to try to maximize how I could use this ability because like it's what I got, So like how do you? It's kind of like Luffy and how is he going to use Stretchy Man?
Yeah.
I mean, you get good at it, even if
I
it's
almost feel like more powerful than a lurcher and a pusher would be two lurchers. Could you imagine like two lurchers on each side, like one coin between them, like they're just pulling that coin back and forth, like.
But you also have to like set yourselves up in a way where you're set up like
on
that.
each side.
Or you're
Like,
if you're just like walking down,
yeah, you just surround them and then it's just like you're dead because you can't defend both
It's
sides.
just a big circle of lurchers. It's just
one coin.
So I want to talk a little bit about the history that we read about, which we obviously find the truth out at the very end of the book. And poor Sazed. Because obviously we lose some characters, and Tyndall is one of them.
Somebody died.
Yeah. Tyndall being a huge impact, a new character we haven't talked about yet. Tyndall.
I'm not happy he did, but I almost feel like it's
Is it
a
Tyndall
blessing
or
that
Tyndall?
he died.
Tyndall.
Yeah,
Tyndall?
no, Sazed.
Club says it.
Sazed didn't die.
Oh, he didn't? Oh, no, he didn't. That's
He's
right. He
reading
ended
the-
up fighting back.
He gets
That's
it in
right.
the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would have been better if he did.
Wow.
'Cause
Why do he say it so much?
I love Sazed, but like he seemed like so happy when they finally like found each other and like admitted their
Tyndall.
feelings to each other.
Well,
and
that's
then when he found her, I'm just like,
That was
So that was
think
a
about the last line of the book.
yeah.
And then I broke. I never believe. Like that's when I stopped believing. Sazed.
Yeah,
Like
he loses his all my religion. Like what the? It's useless.
So-
None of it. I have no one to pray.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a humongous important arc because what happens at the end is Sazed gets the full truth.
Yeah.
Every truth, like the whole thing, and then it breaks him. Mm-hmm. And so then it's like, well, shit. Not only did he lose Tyndall, who was kind of like his love, right?
Yeah.
But he's clearly a broken man, and I don't know. Is he even going to go back and tell anybody? Like, what's up?
You know, we didn't even talk about this, I don't think, in the first one, but it's something that I was thinking when I was thinking about this whole system of, like, breaking and becoming Allomancers and stuff like that. It's, like, really interesting that this level of power is given to people that go through so much trauma that could potentially, because they've been through so much trauma, do really bad things with that power. Because they're just angry at the world now.
why
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. And it seems like enough stay good, you know? Not a lot seem to go...
It's almost like culturally they just accept that the hardship's part of the power. But it's, I don't know, it's interesting.
I mean, in my experience, it's very similar to real life. I feel like the harder things I go through, the stronger I become. You know,
as long as you can, make
as
it out.
long as you know how to make it out of it and heal yourself. And
you know, so we find out though that the mist spirit was actually good despite it attacking people. But then there's another type of mist that seems to be killing people.
It's just that one human mist, like the one that looks like a person. The rest of the mist doesn't seem good.
Well, I don't know about that because the mist, it's almost like, it feels to me like there's almost two different, because there's the mist that Vin pulled on for power, and then there's the mist that kills people, and then there's the little mist guy. Hi.
Yeah.
You know,
pointing, like walk that way.
Stab Elend in the gut.
Yeah.
Why do you think the one mist told Elend to go the other direction?
He wanted Vin to go and
Get him. I think he was thinking Vin would come and get him.
If he left, then why?
It seemed like he was doing everything to keep Vin away
from the well.
And like first,
so if Elend ran, then she would follow.
Like in the first book, he attacked Vin, and it's like, I'll just kill Vin because he realized, I think, that Vin could sense the well or would be a candidate too, and he didn't want anyone going in there. And then he was just watching Vin the whole time to figure out what she could do, and then confronted her a few times. And
we're positive it's the same mist that chopped Elend that tricked everybody.
Well, and we're not positive yet because we don't know. But here's what I think. I think, so we don't know, but I think there seems to be one mist that's like good and trying to keep people away from the Well of Ascension, and will even do bad things to do that. Like we talked about it earlier. Why did the mist kill Elendi's friend?
His best friend. And that's what the weird thing is.
Oh no, he didn't kill him, he attacked him.
I thought he killed him.
I think he attacked him, and then he's never been the same since.
I thought he died.
Maybe he died. I thought I remember him being like, Elendi in his journal talking about how his friend has never been the same since the attack, but at least I'm not the only one who's seen him now. Mm-hmm. He's like, at least many of us have seen him now.
I don't remember.
And I know I'm not crazy. But anyway, I don't know exactly, but the point is, so I think there's that.
Yeah.
But then there's this other, maybe it's the same, but I don't think it is. It's this mist that kills people, strangles them in torturous ways.
I think that's the deep part of the deepness.
Yeah.
And then this other mist is fighting it or trying to protect people from releasing the power.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Vin was pulling on the power that's probably the good side of it, don't you? I don't know.
Probably.
I mean, I'm thinking about that. I mean, she's like, I did it, says that I pulled on the mist. And it feels to me like that wouldn't be the bad one, but maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe she just accidentally used, maybe it helped her defeat the Lord Ruler because it wants to be released.
Yeah, the Lord Ruler. Yeah, of course. Like here's some of here's some of my power because I want to be free,
dude. Oh man. Well, anyway, so the mist is mysterious to us because there's either two factors or it's what do you call
evil
it? It's two-faced, but not that's not the word. It's what's the word, like
manipulative?
No, like where it kind of has like opposites. It's like
a coin, a good side and a bad side.
Polarized. That's what I'm looking for. That's interesting. We should keep our eye on that. The other thing is there was some hints. I think it was the Khandra that know the most about it, because remember, she's like, Sazed would be really interested to talk to you because you've been along so long.
And they still have the old
Sazed
religion.
thinks that, Sazed thinks that those old religions have been gone.
Mm-hmm.
And
one
they said
left.
something about, you humans are from ruin anyway. And you're supposed to destroy the world or something like that. And we're from, what was
Their prophecy is that the humans will be gone and it will just be them.
No, but he
afterwards.
actually
The humans will
said,
kill themselves.
we have to look up this statement. He said, you're from ruin and I'm from something else. Us Kandra are from something else. And that made me immediately think of Stormlight. Like, because in Stormlight, what are the
gods.
it's odium,
Cultivation.
cultivation, and
Storm. What's
well,
the
Stormfather is
Stormfather.
part of the. It was one more. It would the Stormfather is a broken version of the third.
I thought it was Storm. Or
He was a representation of the third one, which was
I don't. Who died? But
who died, or well, his broken version is the Stormfather. But anyway, the point is he said that in that line. He's like, humans are from ruin, and us Kandra are from preservation. I think it's preservation. I think it was ruin and preservation. I thought that's what the line was.
But I mean, they were created by the Lord.
the Lord Ruler. They almost thought the Lord Ruler was like their god.
Yeah.
But again, just like in Stormlight, what does that mean? That may mean you have the power of that shard.
Yeah.
So I think that's the spot where we get a little crossover in potential Cosmere.
How they're maybe
Yeah.
they have like specific gods in this world.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would think. But that one line got me like super excited. So if I think about that, maybe the Kandra know
More.
like way more about this shit than we could like kind of fathom.
I mean, even if they were born a few hundred years ago after the
No luck.
after
I think
the Lord
it's
Ruler.
ruin and preservation because I wrote it down. I remember writing it down because I'm like, this we have to talk about in the podcast. But I think it's ruin and preservation. He said, but then it was one off, and then they just like brushed it off. Like
Yeah.
the rest of everything that's important in this book.
Yeah.
Why do you I don't know. Breeze is a noble. Who knows?
Hopefully, we get more of this in the next book. I think there'll be some solutions.
But just to talk about Kandra again, I had this bet that you think it's not whatever the Kandra that took Finn's Kandra's place.
Osir.
Tunsun.
Osir was the original.
Yeah.
Tensoon, I think it was.
Yeah, but Tunsun, do you think he'll come back in the third book? And some of you probably can't.
I mean,
I can't help.
I can't say
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
can't
I think
help
I
but-
remember enough. So
So I was thinking, man, is he? Because he went back home and he's like, I might have to die because he's like, I broke the contract or whatnot. And
Yeah.
he's gonna
Yeah,
submit to the
I'm gonna
council.
say yes.
I was gonna say yes.
I want him to.
Me
so
too.
Alright.
Just Ben and I.
I was like, oh.
All right,
I
if
hope
it's
he comes
no,
back.
Josh and I will drink. I
Okay.
mean, wait, that would be the same. If it's no, you got. No, that's the same too.
If it's yes, you guys
If
drink.
it's yes, we drink. We'll just be the opposite bets of them.
That's what
We're
I
just
meant.
betting
That's
no.
what I was trying.
Took a second, but we got there.
I think I said it right the first time.
I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
So, Spook.
I really want him
Did
to.
they say anything? I don't think they said anything about Spook.
If he
finding out
doesn't come
Club's
back, I'm
died.
gonna need to drink anyway. So
No, they didn't
What about Spook?
talk about him. Did he find out Club's dying?
Because we know that Elend arrived,
Whoa.
but Spook was not.
We do know that Spook was not freaking out, but Spook was not doing great because he knew he was sent away because everyone there was going to die.
Yeah.
And it's his uncle. Clubs is his uncle. So I don't think we get any touch on Spook at the very end.
No.
But Spook is one of those things, too, that it's like they add this bit of like not gray area, but this bit of like perspective, which I like a lot, is when it just like Spook's just being like, if only I had her power, and then you have Elend who's like, if only I had your power, F you,
yeah.
and then he's like, but you're a king and you love her, so like screw you, and it's just like everyone this like almost this always looking at like kind of like what someone else
Well,
has
remember
type stuff.
Spook? You could tell he feels like remember when they're like, they're talking about Cosmere, and then Spook mumbles, literally, he's like, well, I even helped, and nobody even gives a shit about me. And, you know,
what a mopey little bitch.
Well, he's 16.
I'm just kidding.
He's 16. He was,
and he's also in love with
He's also was in love with Vin, and he feels, and you could tell, remember, Vin even said it. She's like, Spook, stop burning so much tin. He's like, I gotta be, you know, I gotta be worth something.
Yeah, I have to provide
he's like
worth.
Burning, and then he starts grumbling. Like, remember when he's coming into the campfire lights?
Yeah.
And he's like, why do we even need so much light there? And then Elend's like, you know,
so we can see.
so we can see. And he's like, it's not going to change anything. And you realize he's burning tin. He's burning
Constantly.
tin. Constantly. He doesn't stop burning tin.
Vin was burning tin the whole.
This
whole
is
book.
true. That and pewter, which
Most
is probably
do.
worse.
Most do, but they still, even in book 1, Kelsier says,
Yeah.
Beware.
don't want to beware of burning it all the time.
It stresses you out or something. Is that?
Well, also that becomes your norm,
Yeah.
and then
dull
you dull all of your other senses.
But yeah, Vin was doing the same thing. She burned these 3
Pewter.
others
She was burning
Copper,
pewter.
pewter, and tin.
tin all the time.
It's like
Yep.
putting too much salt in your food. Eventually, things just taste
Bland.
bland.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what
You
you
got to be careful of it, and that's why Vin actually has to be careful about constant pewter drag.
Yeah.
And remember, she's not sleeping; she's like sleeping
3
4
months.
hours a night.
Yeah, it
3
was like
months in a
3
row.
months where she was just like constantly on this like high, and then literally she goes out for a week when she finally gets incapacitated to the point where she can't burn, or she's just like not burning the pewter anymore for like a week straight.
Yeah.
Which she's like, I'm going to sleep after taking over all the Colossus.
So Spook.
I loved that part at the end when they're all just like, "Where are you going?" To
Sleep.
bed.
Yeah,
And she just fucking takes off.
yeah. And she suffered like
So,
weeks.
we gotta do a shout out because we lost Doxin. Took a Colas sword.
Wait, we definitely have to talk too about that battle.
Yeah, that's what we're doing now.
Yes.
We lost Tyndall, who is new to this book, but
Yeah.
obviously
Made a huge impact.
Made a huge impact on Elend, especially a humongous impact. And actually, to be honest, we had great motherly advice for Vin.
Yeah.
Pretty often. And
Clubs.
we didn't even talk about her role as a terrorist breeder.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you talk about the Lord Ruler screwing his own people,
Yeah.
holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just rough.
Yeah.
And then, we lost Clubs, the general of the army.
one thing, really quick before we move on, since we talked about it, the one thing I was confused about that was like the whole program was designed as like a
breed 'em
way
out.
to breed them out.
That's why it was such a victory for them to get her in the breeding program.
Right. I would think that their testing protocol or whatever would be pretty solid if that's what their
The
goal
thing
is.
is, they kind of explained it. Well, once again, this gloss over that they believe they vetted all out already.
Yeah, they didn't even think there were any left.
And so,
So they thought it was
they're
rare
looking
enough.
for other traits. Like submissiveness and like intelligence maybe. And she was very intelligent, and I guess you could play submissive for the role, and they got her in.
So they were trying to create submissive, intelligent people.
They were trying to create
basically,
perfect
they
servants.
didn't say
Or-
servants.
They were
Perfect
like,
servants.
yeah, they were like the best, like most sought after, like man
Servants.
servants that you could get.
Yeah.
So it was like people pay a high price, so we need to keep them
Man,
around.
they messed up
Yeah.
all around
They
with her.
did.
Yeah.
She's not submissive.
She had 10 daughters, and she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's crazy too is like it kind of sucks because she had to get into that program by the plan. The terrorist plan was to get her in there so that they could try to breed more ferochemy into the society. But she had to go in this program from 11, so that's why Sazed said like, "Hey, she's had like a really rough life."
Well, one
But
thing
she,
that was,
but she, now obviously, I'm not saying she chose. She was an 11-year-old,
Well,
but they
she-
purposely put her in there. Though they
Purposefully.
as an organization, did it strategically. It's
Yep.
not like they just so happened to
and
select
actually,
her.
she says, "I was doing my duty."
Yeah.
She did choose.
So she got to choose.
I mean,
kind of.
like.
Yeah.
I mean, you can choose
much
to do
as you
something
can
and then
as a kid.
still
Right.
be like, God, I hate this.
Yeah.
And like, It hurt her a lot.
I mean, choosing to do something doesn't make it easy. It's like I can choose to go to war, but it's still gonna fucking suck if I get shot in the head.
Yeah.
You know?
One
I
thing
understand,
that was like super hard about this book that I thought was like kind of a really awesome way that they built everything in is just like you get this feeling like, oh, Say's this like, I could never be the man that she wants me to be. And it's like, you have no idea probably how perfect you are for someone like that, who is literally at this point, like she's had all the kids she could want, probably doesn't care about the love, that the physical love aspect, probably scarred because of the physical love aspect of making babies, that she would want more than anything someone who's just going to genuinely love her for her. And that's what Say's could have been, which made this entire thing so much worse to me. That it was like, they finally start to be like, oh, maybe we could be, and even he has doubts, like, oh, but I can't be that person I'm a eunuch, like. But like when you really think about it, like that
didn't stop Wormtongue.
That would have been exactly, but that would have been like such an important thing, almost like a benefit in Say's for her having had the life that she's had. So just kind of to be like, I'm gonna choose someone and love them and just not care about the physicality of it, but just love them for love.
I mean that, and they seem to know each other before, and they had feelings before all of this, and then were separated for 20 years because of the breeding program. And
I do have to say, like, I can kind of respect, like, the wanting to be, like, a noble person and stuff like that, but this theme comes up a lot in stories, and I'm sure it comes up in real life as well. It really does bother me just from a personal point of view, where, like, people will be like, oh, I'm not meant for them. I shouldn't be with them. It's like, they get to decide for themselves.
Yeah.
Just be honest with them. And then you have to accept their decision.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be with them, well, then you have an argument.
That's where people
But
lose sight of the fact, and Tyndall says it best, or was it says it? It has to flow both ways.
Yeah.
You can't make the decision for, well, if you can actually make the decision for the people, that's stupid.
Right.
Because like
You're not respecting them anymore.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You're not
to
respecting
me, that's the least respectful thing you can do, is by making the
that was
decision for
Say's.
someone else.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it was funny because that's what Sade essentially says to Vin and Elend when he's talking to him. Is like, but if he's been with you, you have to trust his decision and not
Wants
fight
to be
his
with you.
wants. Yeah, like and. Then
Especially
he kind of
since-
does the same. That turns around and does that same problem with her, being like, "She's too good for me."
Yeah, especially since they both want to be with the other, but they both believe that the other person's too good or too popular.
Don't you think
Not right for them.
Don't you think the thing that weighs on him, though? First of all, Sazed turns out he's like, I'm not a warrior, I'm not this, but he seems to be a pretty badass fighter. Actually,
Well, I mean, when you can punch through a concrete wall with your fist, you don't really need to fight.
but even when he's fighting, even when he's fighting
one
Marsh,
punch, man.
Yeah.
he's just using the ferochemy from his rings that are embedded in his body.
Oh, that got
from the
shot in his
sling
body.
shot. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. But then the second thing is, also, maybe if I were him, I would keep those rings
I think he's going to.
in the body, because I would just keep feeding them in. But you
Yeah,
gotta
he
worry
healed
about
around him
infection.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it seemed to imply that he was more powerful because they're inside him.
it seemed like
Yeah,
it,
that
who knows?
did
But the
seem-
Lord Ruler had it that way, and you now know why. Like, because
they
you can't
Get
draw them out
pulled
of
by
your
the
body.
other elements.
But the one thing I was going to say is I think he extra blames himself a little bit because he lied to Vin. He had Vin leave, waste time, and as it turned out, she came back and saved everybody anyway. And so then it was kind of like, and then Tyndall died, Clubs died, Doxson died, and I think deep inside he's like, if I didn't do that, we might be okay.
Maybe. But it seemed like that was the best choice. Like, how could you say, oh, Vin is just be able to kill a couple hundred Kolas that easily?
know.
20,000 is
But that's why he's struggling with faith.
The thing is
because
that-
he's like, if I had faith, the people who had faith were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I shit on faith and sent her out, and look.
Yeah. But if she was vested and had a supply of metals and like a weapon, like she could have fought the Colossus with a metal staff. Because there's be no elements in the rings to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Because her weapons kept breaking.
Yeah.
And being vested and having a huge supply of metals, she could have done way more damage, I think.
Yeah.
And then when she fought the Lord Venture's army, she like decimated them too.
I mean, that didn't take very long, and once
Yeah.
you found out about the Koloss weakness...
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost just wonder, it's like, you don't know how it would have turned out. Maybe it saved them all, and you can't say that, but Sazed's got to be thinking it.
Yeah.
Like, I effed up.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking. Even if he didn't, like, what if Vin never figured out, because she never had the need to figure out that she could control the Koloss that way? Because she was so desperate, that's what got her to finally think that way. But, you know, he's thinking about it. And, I mean, it definitely contributed to him breaking further in the end, but that was one thing where he was like, you know.
But in the long run, if she never came back, it might have been even better.
Yeah.
Because
good question, or good thought, right? Because when it comes down to it,
She only was there because when she was there, she could feel the exactly
Sazed
where
sending
the well
her
was.
away in the bigger picture was actually the best thing.
Yeah.
The absolute best thing.
They would
that
have
he could have
died,
ever done.
but
The world
the would have
wouldn't
been, the deepness would have been released.
although, if she would have stayed, she may have never realized that it's getting weaker from that point, and would have
then
never
they could have
realized that it
sent
was
her out
there.
after she saved everybody.
Yeah.
Woo.
But then, if she never released the deepness, she would never be able to defeat it in the third book.
Exactly.
true.
Exactly.
And then
And that's the thing too. Is like the fact that there's book 4, 5, and 6 makes me think that all of them die.
So that's actually a really good question, because there is a book 4, 5, and 6, and there's going to be
7, 8, and 9.
8, 9, and 10.
And 10. Oh, jeez.
So
Isn't the third series set like 100 years later?
I think it's more. I think it's a few hundred years.
Let's
later.
not guess too much because we don't know.
I do, because I
Well,
read it.
well, you do.
I'm
but
not
let's
talking
not-
about-
the third book
The
series.
the second book series, I meant.
Oh, second book series.
Yeah, the second
It's
one's a
set
few hundred
later.
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
thing. So
I
these
believe
characters
so.
are not going to be in the book.
Yeah. Even if they do end up winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sorry I destroy you like that, Josh.
Nah.
They gonna die.
Yeah.
They gonna
So,
die.
Technically, yeah. They can die.
Someday. Maybe they win, but then they'll die someday.
Yeah.
We're just gonna.
They'll be legends.
So tell me, Dwarf, how do you want to die?
So
My bed at an old age?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? So we have this happen. We now have Elend as an Elemancer. Vin realizes what she's done. We find out the Mist Spirit, who's kind of an asshole,
good.
but was kind of trying to.
Well, he
keep
cut Alan specifically to be like, you now need to use it to save him, and she's like, I can't, and she releases it, and then it's like, oh shit, and then the spirit somehow still is like helping Ellen, still like even though it's funny, the spirit cuts Ellen to be like, you should use the power to save him. When she doesn't, he's like, but you can still save him, and points him towards a vase with a little bead of something that she gives to him, and he wakes up a week later with Allomancy powers.
Yeah. Full blown.
Misting. Mistborn.
Okay, so I'm a little confused about that unwrapping of how the events went. So that's what I was thinking for a second, that the mist chopped him so that she would not use, so that she would use the powers
to save him.
But isn't there a line in there where the mist says, like, where she's like, I have to save him, and the mist says, no,
have to
you
fight the
can't.
deepness.
You know what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's
the
probably
power,
the
that's
evil
not the
side.
mist.
So that was a different voice? That
That
was
was
not
the
mist?
power she grabbed.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it goes like this. You know what you need to do. I need to fight the deepness.
Yeah. But here's the thing though, is let's say she wasn't there and she didn't take the power. There was still the mist is literally coming earlier and earlier in the day and killing people.
So something the Lord Ruler was maybe doing had something to do with that, right?
Because
it's like,
but him being dead, so her not taking it, so best case scenario at this point, what we think would have been for her to take it and use it to save Elend and maybe clear ash falls, I don't know, make the world green again or something.
Yeah.
But we still know she needed to take the power because the mist was coming more and more.
Yeah.
So there's still something.
yeah, what was like, they found like something that was broken down there.
Well, all the vases, there were like all these shattered
those
vases.
were the ones with the
vases,
beads.
Well, but there was one that was unbroken, and when
gotcha.
she she.
I was thinking like
went
maybe
in
it's
there
like
and-
the SEALs, Robert Jordan, like this, like the Lord Ruler once every like who knows how long has to go down and.
Do you guys think there's any? This is like completely out of the blue, but do you think that there's any possibility that even though he was kind of a crappy guy, that the mass soothing of having these soothers around that they were doing didn't have anything to do with actually soothing the citizens, but had to do with soothing the darkness?
I think
since it was there in.
No,
I think it's a good thought,
no.
but I think he's just
I think
a jackass.
If anything,
I think
it
so,
was
probably too.
his own soothing that
That
was
kept
always
him.
so oppressive that kept it at helped to keep it at bay somehow.
Yeah.
If that,
I think
like,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
I think
it's
that-
definitely something having to do with him that caused it to ramp up again.
Yeah.
Well, his death that caused it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was doing something actively, which we think
Yeah.
that was keeping.
And
Yeah,
his demand for the atheum was, but led me to believe that it was the atheum
So-
he did something with to keep it at bay.
I did
keep it
look,
at bay.
and they've got at the end of the book, they have a metals reference guide. So with the atium, it says the feruchemical ability is storing age.
was
So
ATM.
You can take an atium, and the terracemen can store age in it. But what's weird though is if you burn it internally.
10 times.
No, but the Allomancer power is to see into other people's future. So that burning it shouldn't make him younger.
No, but remember they said that what would happen is because Vin tried taking one of Sazed's earrings or something, and she ate it, and then she burned it, and she's like, I feel another power in there, but I can't access it. And Sazed goes, it's because it's mine. And so when it's his own, when he has both powers, and he eats the atium and then burns it, not only can he see the future, he also 10 times what he stored can stay young. That's what they implied at the end of book 1. They think that the theory is that he can release, because Sazed says this many times, he's like, the difference between us is that you have way more, like I have to go ounce for ounce, minute for minute. You have an immense amount of power depending on the metals. But when you are both a feruchemist and a allomancer, you can store your feruchemy in that metal and then burn it with that power and release it at tenfold or more.
And as far as we
power.
know, he's the first one in
First and only.
like centuries, right?
Right.
Ever since
That's
the
the-
Lord Ruler.
So if he's
Well,
storing all... Oh, go ahead.
Who?
Ever since the Lord Ruler like died, they used to exist, but then he like squashed them, right?
No,
It was only
feruchemists.
feruchemists.
Right.
before.
Allomancy didn't exist.
He
Oh,
killed.
okay.
But he essentially killed all the
Yeah.
feruchemists
Well, he
because
tried
he
to,
didn't. He tried to because he didn't want an
Feru-
allomancer to breed with another feruchemist.
It's almost like he made allomancy and then he fucked up because he realized he made it genetic. So then he's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need to kill my people now.
But it's, yeah. But one thing that seems a little bit odd in all this is that the nobles aren't allowed to breed with the Skaa. That's like they have to kill the Skaa children.
They're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to. But the reason that they say is because they don't want the Skaa to get the allomancy abilities.
Yeah.
But it seems weird because it's like, oh, can an allomancer Skaa be somehow better than a noble Skaa?
Well,
noble
remember,
allomancer?
like Seth even says that he's a noble, but he's like, my bloodline is so jacked with Skaa blood, it doesn't even matter. Like we don't have that many allomancers.
Yeah.
And as an allomancer, as a Skaa born allomancer, you could technically be better if you have more noble blood. So like if let's say my dad and my mom are both half, well then I might get lucky and get more of that noble half, even though I would be considered Skaa.
Right.
And I think that's what happened with Vin. Because I think that Vin's mom was probably not pure Skaa. Because she's very pure-blooded. And they said that her dad, one of the leaders...
super pure-blooded,
he was
right.
very, very pure-blooded. And so maybe the mom was only a little Skaa, but considered Skaa.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those where I bet you could if you have the right luck involved.
Yeah.
We haven't run into him again, have we?
He died.
Well, he died. Remember all the
Steel Inquisitors killed
at
him.
the end of the last book.
Oh yeah,
Because it was right before the overthrow
Who's
that the
your
Lord
father?
Ruler's like, the Inquisitors can now rule the Steel Ministry.
That's right, yeah.
And they're like, we're gonna go to town on this.
And I bet the reason he was the head of the religion was because he was one of the most pure bloodlines
People, yeah,
from
exactly.
one of Lord Ruler's old buddies that there was.
But remind me, because we're talking about the metals. Did we ever figure out what the complement was to Atheum?
So we have Atium and Malatium, which sees into other people's pasts. But the ferrochemical ability
It's
power,
unknown,
we don't know.
Nobody's
We just
used
know
it.
that that's what in terms of Allomancer, that's what in the last book, that's what Kelsier gives to her, and she sees herself and she touches it.
No, but
alloy.
That's the alloy
Yeah.
of Atium.
But in the first book, they're saying like, they would make an
Everything has a
alloy
mirror.
of.
No,
was
that
so
was
rich.
gold. I'm sorry, that was gold.
Gold.
But gold, you guys had it right.
Oh.
Gold was not tied to ATM.
Yeah, gold, and that other one was.
It's gold and electrum sees into. So gold lets you see into your own past. Electrum sees into your own future. Atium sees into other people's futures. But Malatium, that's supposedly the 11th metal that Kessler had, that said this is how we're going to defeat the Lord Ruler. And she gives it to Vin, and remember, she eats it, and she sees the other people's past. She sees the Lord Ruler as the farm guy, like old man.
The Pac-Man.
Yep. So you get to, Atium, see into other people's futures. Malatium, see into other people's pasts. Gold, you get to see into your own past. And Electrum, you get to see into your own future. But I don't think we ever get an example of someone using Electrum.
No, I don't know, but they talked about it, I thought. Because that's why it's
Malatium is an alloy that.
ATM.
But they were saying like, oh, it would be impossible because it's so expensive. Who would mix it to find?
That's where Kelsier had it. So he had that one bar. Someone somehow
figured it out.
Yeah.
And made
or he stole it from the Lord Ruler.
Something like that, yeah. But whatever he got, she could see it, and actually it did turn out being the key to defeating him, surprisingly. But we don't know what the ferochemical powers to those are. But we do know ATM stores age.
I wonder if, like...
So I bet this stores, what's this, pulls see into other people's pasts. I bet you could... Oh shit, if you could ferochemically do that, could you go back into your own past? That'd be crazy. That'd be nuts.
I wonder if these things, like, once they have access to the metal, kind of automatically become apparent. Like, oh, this stores age, or if there's some, like, discovery they have to do once they have it.
I would think it'd be like a
biochemists?
discovery.
Yeah.
I think they would figure out once they burned it.
You know what they would
whatever
do?
They would find out once they stored something into it, because they'd be like, "Oh shit!"
Tap it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I
Kinda
can't
like the
feel
weight.
anything. I can't see anything.
Yeah.
I'm super light. Or
Yeah, they would suddenly start to store their weight, and they'd be like, "I'm bloated."
well,
But, like, for
some
example...
of them would be really hard because one stores health. Well, they look really unhealthy, I guess.
Yeah.
They're
But, like, for
looking
example, like,
sickly.
let's say if you had a bag that had, like, a bunch of holes in it, and you try and put water in it, right? Like, it's not going to store.
Yeah.
So, like, I wonder if they automatically, as soon as they have access to it, it's like, oh, so that's what I store in that. Or if they have to, like, try and figure out things to store in it, and if they don't think of the
right
element, it just stays
That's a good
unknown.
question.
It feels
You know?
more like they probably feel it, and then they're like, I'm going to feed something into it. And they're like, I'm feeding something into it. What am I feeding?
What
But
is
I don't
it?
know.
Yeah.
Because it seemed to be the same way when Vin
was
first
using
gets
it,
the Allomancer abilities. When she first gets the full thing, she's like, I feel something there. And she's like, I don't know what it's doing. He's like, burn it. And she's like, huh, I'm burning it, but I don't know what's happening. And it's like, oh, you're probably burning the copper or something like I forget which one it was, but she didn't quite know what it was doing, so she just started burning it. I bet you it's the same thing with the ferrochemy. That she's just like, they're like, I'm feeding something into it. What am I feeding into it? I might not know straight away, but you'd be able to tell after a bit.
So we kind of know that we have gaps, and thankfully the book doesn't fill those gaps in for us. This is why we don't always go onto Reddit and see, so therefore we probably seem kind of dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
We like to,
Figure it out.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about.
take it as we go.
Yeah.
So, pretty awesome, but we end up, we lose some of the original crew, so we're definitely moving on from the old days, clearly.
And specifically one of them may be completely changed by this. I think Breeze, that's gonna be, I bet Breeze will be an arc in the next book where it's just like him trying to be back to himself, because he seems like a broken man.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's got a nice, cute...
That is true. 15 or... No,
likes
not
him.
15, but she's like 18.
Yeah, 18,
young,
17.
Young girl, but that can hopefully riot his emotions back to normal or something.
Yeah.
Either there'll be something with them too, because he seemed like they almost made a bit of a point.
No,
like,
they're going to
he's
be a
not
humongous
leaving
team because she could riot and
he
he's
can
a soother.
Yeah.
So like the pair of them, who he's probably going to teach her.
Yeah.
About that stuff because they sound like how good Breeze is at really soothing.
But also, she seemed to be like a natural.
She
and
seemed to be very
good at it.
yeah,
Yeah, Breeze
definitely.
didn't even. She's like, this is the biggest challenge of my life. Like getting Breeze, this guy who's like a pro at this, to not notice that I'm doing it to him.
But did he notice?
I don't think so.
It seemed like he didn't.
They make it seem like maybe we'll find out later that he was like, oh, I knew all along, and I was just like letting her because I kind of had a thing for her too. But like, I get the feeling that he didn't know, and she's just like that good.
So I guess we'll have to find out.
Which now, was it rape? Did he get raped, guys?
Well, according to him, no.
Yeah, of course. He's probably the best person for this to happen to, because it'd be like, damn,
Yeah,
I can't
Those
argue.
feelings already existed, and she just enhanced them.
According to him.
By the way,
Best person for that to happen to.
it's amazing to think about this though, and now it makes a lot more sense why everyone was so confused when they were talking about Breeze with a girl.
Yeah.
And then they come back and she's like, "Oh, my Breezy," and he's like, like all this, and they're all just like,
This is weird. Yeah.
what? So that all makes a lot more sense. Anything else on the end that we should?
So, Josh, do you want to make that a bet?
Which one?
That he realized, or he didn't realize he was being righted?
Oh, jeez. I feel like this is probably something I should know, but I don't. I don't know if we'll find out, but let's say
they gloss over it like some other things.
I know, yeah. We might never find out.
Those could be
Let's
seeds
do
for
it.
the
Don't
third
find
book.
out.
I say that. So, are we gonna find out? Is the Brett bet that he knew or he didn't know, or that?
I think he knew the entire time he was being righted
Okay, I think
in this book.
I think he didn't know.
I'm gonna say he.
I'm gonna say he did know.
Damn, I'm gonna go with Ben. I'm waiting. Well, here's the question: is when he delivers this line, is he gonna be lying because he's like, I knew, you know what I mean, like stubborn bullshit?
But they would.
knows?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
The author
Ben.
would put that in for us if.
Yeah, I'm
if
gonna go with
internally-
Ben in this one.
Should we make it a rule that the answer has to be the one that's presented and not necessarily the one that is?
Yeah, we're not arguing it. We just present it. I
Yeah.
think that's probably.
Okay.
Unless it's
So, Jeff,
obvious
yes?
I'm gonna go with
that
Ben.
he's
I'm gonna say
lying.
yes.
That unless it's obvious that we know he's lying.
Yeah,
when
and
he
he's
says
just like he.
Well, obviously, if
smiles,
it if it says like he lyingly said,
yeah.
I want to even it out, but I'm gonna go with yes.
I honestly think yes sounds.
You know,
but I was like, I'll just say no.
Josh and I can't do this.
The Hail Marys are the most fun ones to do. Though.
And sometimes they work and it's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa.
And I've got a feeling I probably should know the answer to this, but it's literally been like 8 years.
I know
since
it's the
read
same
this
for
book.
me. I don't remember enough.
Don't worry, Josh. I trust you.
That'd be so funny.
Not me though. So Josh and I have to stay out of this, even if we don't remember.
Okay.
But I think it would be fun for you guys to do Brett bets on the main characters.
Of who dies?
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Okay.
I think it would be worthwhile at least.
That's
and
better
be
than who
entertaining.
dies. It'll be fun.
Okay, list off the characters.
Let's just do main ones. What do we got?
Yeah, whatever main ones you could think of.
Vin says.
Elend.
Let's not go Elend.
Use
We
all
already have
the main
Kelsey,
characters.
but we don't need to do. Do we want to do all the whole
Ham,
crew?
Spook.
Ham, Bree, Spook.
Yeah, all the main characters. I think.
only-
Who's left?
6.
Ham, Bree, Spook. Right.
Ham, Breeze, Spook, Vin, Elend,
Sazed.
Sazed, Marsh.
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 The chick who's Breeze likes.
Breeze Girl.
Oh, do we want to do her? She's new to this book, but we can do her.
Yeah.
Breezes.
right. No, all right. So let's start. Let's start with Vin, because I'll just go down Vin, Elend. I'll just go down my pinky. So let's start with Vin.
Oh yeah. She'll live.
Do they die?
This will be fun. I think this will be a fun one because we've got what did I have 7 or 8
Wait,
people on my
Ben? No.
Yeah, it's Ben Brett. No, I'm gonna go with no. Well, I guess I have to go with yes.
Nah.
You don't have to do whatever you want because if you guys
I'm gonna go with the no.
simultaneously win, Josh and I have to drink.
Oh, if you both get us right.
Yeah, well, then I'm just gonna follow every single one that says.
Well then, but if
you might have different beliefs, and then you'll want to take your own because then all three of us drink.
Yeah, well, you two could both drink if you're both wrong, and then we don't have to drink
really
either.
the only one that I like.
Yeah, she's like, oh, she's definitely gonna live.
So Vin,
so she's gonna die.
And then who's next?
Elend.
You go first, Brett. So it's fair at least.
Elena.
Elena.
I'm gonna go with. Yeah. Yeah.
This is
you guys get to alternate. Yeah, that's good.
I don't know.
I know it's so hard.
It's literally just rolling the dice. I have no fucking idea. No. But I'm gonna change Vin to yes.
Oh damn!
I do the opposite of that.
Oh, you guys! All right, we're safe. We don't have to drink these ones.
Because don't have to.
If you guys both pick the same, there's a chance we'll both drink. But if you guys are alternating everyone, go ahead.
So we did Vin, Elend. Let's go. Sazed.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in the crew.
So let's go to...
Oh, no, Marsh. Marsh is like the last one. Not. I guess he's
not a crew. He was, but not really.
Yeah. So
Marsh. Let's go Marsh.
Yeah, I would say no. He'll live, even though he's just been a dick this book.
Yes.
Okay. Then we've got...
Ham.
Ham.
Yeah, let's go crew.
No.
No.
Breeze.
Yeah.
I already have my answer, but it's bet.
Yeah, I say no.
Me too.
Spook.
Yes.
Spook.
Oh, he doesn't have his love anymore because she lives that way.
Well, I think he got over it, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, he
likes
still
any
might
tits,
have a
based on how they're described.
I think he's just moved on.
Yeah.
And he's just like...
Even if they're smelly. It was described that way in the book.
Yeah.
who is it?
Spook. He's 16. What can you say?
He'll bang anything, pretty much.
This is true.
16. That continues until
what's
you're
the girl?
37, apparently.
Yeah.
I forget the girl's name. Breeze's gal.
Starts with an A. That's all I know.
I forgot her name now.
She doesn't even feel like a main enough character.
Breeze.
I think she'd have a bigger role.
I
in
think.
the book.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Breeze's girl. I'm gonna say
Breeze girl.
no.
Did I say Breeze? Yes or no?
Yeah, you gotta look
no.
back.
What? I said no?
no.
I'm going to say no also.
Okay. Cool.
Now that's 8 people. Did we miss anybody critical that we should talk about?
We got Alan. We got.
Dachshund clubs are already
They're already dead.
gone. And so is Tyndall, new major character.
We don't care about like the kings.
No,
like
they're
Ventures, Captain.
They're story fodder.
Yeah,
does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
they'll live or die based on what the story needs.
Yeah.
Just characters that you're like. We didn't talk about the Khandra. So
well, we don't even know.
Tensoon. Well, you said does he come back or not?
Yeah.
Do you want to add him in?
Ben and I have yes that he does come back.
Do you want to live or die one on that one, or?
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one because he might not be back.
Since we think he's coming back, we could do one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he lives. If he comes back.
If he doesn't come back though, it's a
wash.
What's his name?
Oh, Seer.
No,
Tensoon.
Or Seer died already.
Tensoon.
But that's what we know.
And we know they can die.
Or maybe he just got his contract got voided because he got play kills.
He's just hanging out in the back.
Right? Yeah.
It's like tag.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Exactly. Like that's the maybe that's actually a good point. Maybe
awesome.
He never died, and somehow the contract lets him get out when it's like tagged. Like, okay, you can't participate anymore. Your contract's null because I killed you.
Yeah.
But I got a feeling he's dead. So Tensoon. Ben said yes.
I said he's not gonna die.
Not gonna die.
No. And I'm gonna also say no.
I mean, really, it's only elements.
I think that's all our characters.
That's pretty much
I think
it.
we went through
Yeah.
everybody, right?
Yep.
All right. So we look forward to the third book. Also, by the way, there's a short story that we need to read right after the third book. It is Brandon Sanderson released it when we read Edge Dancer. It's in the same book that Edge Dancer's in.
Oh,
The
nice.
Arcanium Unbound.
Arcanium Unbound, and we should read that. At least some of us should, because it is directly tied to this trilogy.
Oh, nice.
And is probably pretty critical.
Cool.
And I read it when I read Arcanium Unbound and was like, oh shit. So it would be fun for us to do the book and then do that short story as maybe a little
Interlude. Yeah, sounds good.
interlude. So cool.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers,
All
everybody.
right, cheers, guys.
Good episode. And we'll see you next for Mistborn Book 3, The Hero of Ages. By Brandon Sanderson. Oh my. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of Lit Literature. If you liked us, please check out our social media at Lit Literature 1 at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't hesitate to join in on the conversation. We appreciate the conversation, the questions, book recommendations, anything of that sort. Join in right on the social media websites. And don't forget to check us out at our website, litliterature.com, and our upcoming projects, though there aren't many now besides Lit Literature, you can find at lyket.net, Lyket. We do have a Patreon account, but if you truly want to support us, please like and share. Cheers.